Please listen carefully.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hypothetical Siblings Podcast. My name's Lainey.
And my name is Nick.
And welcome. Let's jump right into it because right before, we hit record, I said, it's a me, Amadio. Well, I don't think I said Amadio, but...
But you made the reference nonetheless.
And Nick goes, ooh. So...
Did you... All right. This is maybe for no one, but I feel like this is going to be a big deal because Nintendo hasn't really done a movie since maybe ever.
Is Sonic Nintendo?
No.
Oh. What is he?
Sega.
Oh.
Not Nintendo. you really, just your own confidence in just saying that really made me second guess myself. Because I was like, oh my god, he's in Smash Bros.
I wasn't confident about if he was Nintendo. I was just asking.
I don't know. There's just a way you asked the question with your full chest that really, threw me off there for a second. But no, so the trailer for the Mario movie came out. Did you watch it?
Okay, and why do I want to see it?
Oh, I want to see it so bad. But the weird, Chris Pratt just trying to do not really Mario, but just, not a Chris Pratt voice.
Yeah, it's like he's like, I can't make this just me, but I'm not going to try to do Mario either.
Well, because you can't do Mario, because it's, kind of racist.
Is that why?
Well,
that they just, because, so the original guy, so I was looking on the cast of the movie, and the guy who, voiced OG Mario is listed in the cast.
Is it the guy that voiced him, or is it the guy that played Mario in the, Mario Super Special? Where it's, this weird, big, fat Italian guy.
No,
and
no.
He's like, Luigi, we gotta go get King Koopa. And
no.
he's, telling the kids, he's like, don't do drugs, kids.
No, it's the actual guy. He's, an older guy, and he has...
Who did, the wahoo.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I saw an interview with him, and that's the only reason I know what he looks like.
Cool.
But, also...
Is it gonna be... I feel like it's just gonna be, there's a TV on somewhere, and it's the old Mario... And then Chris Pratt Mario is going to look at it and be like, what the fuck? What is that dumb bullshit?
I think it's totally going to be a joke. It's not going to be.
Yeah.
But everyone's pissed regardless that he's not doing, or that he didn't try at all, / that they just didn't have the, OG guy do it.
But again, you don't get a movie out of woohoo waha,
Right.
You can't...
If he didn't have the skill to...
You can't have Mario get up there and grab Jack Black Bowser by the tail and sling him off a cliff and say, so long, gay Jack Black. You can't do that.
Also, can I just say that Charlie Day as Luigi is my favorite thing. Favorite thing. I love that, man.
Because you have Charlie Day Luigi, which... perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Key as Toad?
Sure.
I forget if it's Key or Peel, but it's one of them. Which also solid.
Which is, pretty good.
Good panic voice, right? Mm-hmm. Seth Rogen, Donkey Kong.
Okay, I was going to say, there's somebody else beside Jack Black that I was thinking of that I couldn't remember.
Which you look at Jack Black Bowser, that feels like a weird fringe pick.
No, I feel like it's perfect.
I mean, you have Pick of Destiny where he's doing demon voices, and I get that. And it depends on how you want to play Bowser.
Because, it's supposed to be lighthearted, I feel like, too, and that's why they chose him.
Oh, totally.
Because, the very beginning trailer of the little penguins coming out, that was freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
So I think that sets a good tone for the movie.
I think so, too. I think that with all of the kind of different varieties of comedy that they have coming at it, that they have spared no expense in... making, because it's not like a Sonic where you get to redo it, because Sonic is a big video game character. He's a big deal just culturally, right? But Mario is Mr. Video Game,
right?
That is the video game man. And so Nintendo, I think, understands you get one, and if it's a bad one, it's done. You don't get any more.
Yeah. Well, and also if you're walking down the street and you see a group of people and you say, you know, you guys play video games, even if they say no, they've played Mario Kart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Mario Kart, you know.
I mean, even besides Mario as a franchise, right? Super Mario Brothers. How many people do you know that still refer to any game console as the Nintendo?
Nobody.
Every old person.
Oh.
Every single old person. And I don't even mean like old grandparent age. I'm talking above the, like, anyone who's not savvy to it. Like our parents, we have played video games our entire lives, so they know there's an Xbox and a PlayStation. But anyone who's not, it's the Nintendo.
I haven't encountered that, but I don't talk to a lot of people who are not video game savvy
and
enough.
And also, how often do you bring up video games in a given conversation? As opposed to me, who wastes the first 6 minutes of the podcast on it because...
I do want to say I'm excited to see the movie, and I plan on seeing it, but did you see the travesty that has befallen Mario's ass?
No. No, I have not.
So in, you know, the video games and stuff, they fill out the overalls.
Yeah,
with he's got
boy.
a thick...
Yeah, well, all those jumps, man, those legs, those glutes are toned.
In the movie, there is
What
baggy overalls. There's room in those overalls.
What are they supposed to do? They can't have Mario just be walking around with a dump truck the entire movie.
Well, they could just make the design consistent, you know? I mean...
Let's not even begin to talk consistent design. We saw what they did to Sonic on the first go-around,
oh my fucking God. That was nightmare fuel if I've ever seen it.
Gremloid
Remember
Sonic.
how the internet bullied those people into changing it? And it was for the better. It was for the better.
My hand is up in the air because none of you can see me. I am against bullying. That is a hardline stance that I will take.
Thank you.
Those people that made the first Sonic deserved to get bullied. They deserved it a lot.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
So.
Because who looks at that and says, nah, you're right.
Well, I mean, maybe, and I don't think it's totally outside the realm of legitimate possibility, maybe they made it ugly bad on purpose because they saw the track record of video game movies behind them and said, we need to get eyeballs on this and force people to pay attention.
Right.
Because they turned it around in like 8 months, which to do a whole movie, I don't know a lot about CGI. That feels like a lot of work for 8 months.
Absolutely.
Unless they just crunched the shit out of those people, in which case things get weird. And I'm not a man to talk about labor laws, but crunch is bad.
Yeah, me too.
But anyway.
So, brother, how was your week?
My week was good. That kind of sounds like a question. It was good. It was good. It was long, for sure. I did a lot more exercise than I usually do, which, on the one hand, is a good thing. Exercise is good for you. On the other hand, when you don't do exercise very often and then do lots of it, that hurted. That shit hurted. So the exercise that I did was going hunting, and I can imagine that it is I don't have to imagine. I am aware that it is a divisive topic, and so I won't go into the details of it. But that's a lot of hiking around.
Yep.
That's a lot of up and down hills and through valleys. And
your calves must be popping right now.
They are. You know what? Of the genetic features that I have been gifted physically, my calves are actually up there.
Yeah, me too.
So already pretty strong in the calf area, but my butt hurts from just lifting my legs and hiking up hills and things like that. And also even just sitting in the car and going down roads that are super unmaintained and rocky and horrible and just bouncing and, that's not great.
That's not great.
For your booty. We were successful, which was cool. Got to spend time with Dad and one of our uncles.
Da boys.
Which is more of a factor of we're just the ones who like to hunt as opposed to you and Mom who have no interest in hunting. But yeah, I mean, you've come out before and hung out at camp and gone on walks and things like that. Which, I mean, for myself as well, I feel it's more about being out in nature as opposed to getting something.
It was just essentially camping for me because I didn't participate in the hikes or the journeys or the actual hunting aspect.
Yes,
so
correct.
It was more camping. And
which we're campers.
Right, which I enjoy a lot, and I will never forget playing Trivial Pursuit Lord of the Rings out there. That was highlight of my life.
I can't get over, I don't think I'll ever be over the fact that I got the number of orcs that Gimli killed at the Battle of Helm's Deep correct, and was nothing but accused of being a cheater.
I know! I don't remember. I don't think I accused you. I think it was mainly Mom.
I think you were hesitant. Mom came swinging. She was like, okay, did you see the card? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, you absolutely did not
and
fucking
I said,
know
no,
that.
Mother, you just raised a massive fucking dork.
Right, and that's on you.
And now you're paying the consequences because you're going to lose at Trivial Pursuit.
I was pissed because the question was, what does Gandalf say when fleeing from the Balrog? What does he say to the Fellowship?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer that I said was, run, you fools.
Mm-hmm.
The real answer is fly, you fools. And I was shocked, to be honest with you. I was shocked. And I was upset because I came out so confident and was,
Well, but I feel like the ruling on that was fair.
Right. Yes, I was just more like, I can't believe those are the words, not like...
Yeah, in the moment, it was really confusing, but looking back on it now, it's, to me in my head, those are the words.
Right. Yeah, now, I know, because I'm a bigger fan now than I was then, but...
Yeah, do you feel that way? Do you feel over time that you've become more of a Lord of the Rings fan?
Yes, and I also...
Really?
Yeah, well, and also the other thing, though, is that I've consumed more Lord of the Rings media. I've read The Hobbit, I've read the first book.
That's true. That is true.
And... watched all the movies, the Hobbit movies. Now we're watching Rings of Power. I mean,
which is good.
Which is so good.
And in my opinion, kind of strangely brutal as opposed to Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. And I was telling Mom or talking about it to the room while we were watching that I feel part of the reason that I am uncomfortable with it, not uncomfortable, that it is unnerving, the violence that's in there, because people die in Lord of the Rings all over the place,
and right.
Get shot by arrows and stabbed and sliced and everything else, but there's something about this that the deaths are much more visible and much more visceral.
Right.
Before, when someone got mauled by a warg or whatever it is, it kind of happened mostly off screen, or the body of the warg was blocking it, but here you just watch it tear into people's guts, and there's something a lot harder about that to watch.
And also I was noticing this when Dad and I watched Return of the King in the theater. Mm-hmm. Like, Aragorn stabs a baddie. Yeah. Sword comes out clean. In this show,
lots of blood.
So much blood.
Yeah.
Crazy amounts of blood.
Totally. But I think that is also a facet of the more modern take on medieval fantasy, that it tends to be more grim. And I think Game of Thrones and its popularity has a lot to do with that.
Oh, absolutely.
That the medieval is now being viewed, fantastical or otherwise, the medieval is now being viewed as this dark, dirty, it's very swords and sorcery as opposed to high fantasy.
Right. Which I've always sort of thought of it in a dark way, like not necessarily when it comes to fantasy, but medieval times in general. I'm like, plague, dirt, rat, shit, that's my view of it. Not necessarily knights and princesses and whatever. Sure. I'm like, it's fucking gross. I don't want to,
No, absolutely. But I also feel, and this is a strange thing for me to, after I voiced this, I have been thinking about it, and that's, 45 minutes ago or whatever. But I feel part of the reason is that watching women die on camera is so uncommon comparatively to men, whether it be more modern war movies or even in fantasy. Like in Lord of the Rings, is there a woman that dies on camera? To violence anyway?
I don't think so. Well, part of that is there's just not a lot of women on the camera.
That's true. But, there absolutely is that.
But like even when they're showing, oh no.
What? Are you about to get outed for being a fake fan?
Yeah.
Who are you thinking of?
No.
In the Rings of Power?
No. What's the White City? The White City. With the tree.
Minas Tirith.
when they're in that battle and everybody, it's getting sieged by the orcs and stuff, you see women running away, but you don't see them. And I think there's even parts where like an orc sort of corners one, but nothing then, happens. Yeah, it doesn't show. Yeah, it doesn't show anything, or they're just running or whatever.
Right. Whereas in Rings of Power, it's like, no, watch this lady get friggin' speared through the middle and like pinned to the ground.
Yeah.
Or watch this one get her throat slit for nothing.
That was fucking crazy.
And just, it's not, and I don't want to make it like a weird sex thing, right?
Oh my God.
Not sexual,
yeah.
but sex, right? Like anatomical sex. But I think just because it is different. I mean, it's different from what I grew up with, and that there's this, I don't know, there's just something strange about it, that it's somehow more unsettling.
Right. Well, and the thing is, too, is like you said, I mean, we're a lot more used to men getting killed on camera, just in any genre and any time, and so when a woman just gets, oh my God, brutally murdered on camera, it's a lot,
Maybe that's the thing, is it's not, because if it was also clean swords and stuff, and they're kind of just getting chopped and then they fall over or whatever, maybe it wasn't affect me as much, but the fact that it's like slow pierce through the stomach, I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah, literally. So, yeah, super interesting.
So yeah, went hunting, Rings of Power, school, work. We have at work, this is not a new nomenclature that we have started, but one that we've been using for a while. Wednesdays have become what the fuck Wednesdays, because it seems for whatever reason that the absolute circus just shows up with a bus full of people and drops them off in the building. Because there's just people that, I mean, you walk away from an interaction with no ability to say anything except for what the fuck.
Yeah.
Just whether they... Because I've talked about strange customers on here before. There was the guy with the suit coat and glasses that thought he was like a high roller and all that. And then there's, people smoking inside, like just a lit cigarette walking around, and then when they're confronted, hide it in their jacket while it's still lit, and then it starts to light them on fire, and it's a whole thing. All sorts of just craziness. So that's been going on.
And you just have to deal with the general public like to a higher degree than so many, like, because if you have a retail job,
any retail or customer service,
but I feel like your store is like it's sort of a store that you can walk around and just enjoy. You know what I mean?
It's half store, kind of half amusement park.
Right.
We have attractions other than come in and buy this thing.
Right. So I feel like that exposes you to a wider purview of the public than you would just being in a retail strictly position,
Yeah. No, absolutely. As opposed to like a Target.
Right. Or like if you were just in Adidas,
Yeah, like a little outlet, something like that. Yeah, that's totally fair. No, totally. So... Yeah, life goes on. School's going okay. Nothing to write home about there. I'm tired. I'm very tired. I got back from hunting like 6 hours ago at this point, so I'm absolutely whooped. But of course, the grind never stops, so we got to stay doing the Sibs podcast for sure.
Sibs.
Get episodes out to the people and such.
Sibs.
What about you, madame?
I mean, pretty same. I had a just school, I got over 100% on one of my mammology practicals, so that's
you got
sick.
Over 100%.
Yeah.
Did he take questions off of it because he felt like they were too big of a deal?
Oh, no, there were. I thought I wasn't beating you.
You were. I don't know if you were like threatening me or prompting me or something, but you were trying to give me a fist bump.
Yeah.
But it was weird and vertical. You had your first knuckle out, like you were, I don't know.
Sorry, because you can't view that. I was trying to get Nick to give me a fist bump, and it was weird.
This is a point in the direction of needing to live stream, but at the same time, we've already decided that clearly our faces can't be seen. Maybe we wear just dumb bullshit alien masks, like old school idiot rubber ones.
Or really big sunglasses.
That's so little of your face. I got ads. This is a total tangent. I'm getting ads for weird fashion shit because I bought feathered bow ties a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
One of which is a sunglasses visor that covers your entire face.
What?
So it has like a band around the head that is what holds it to you, but the front is like the front of a motorcycle helmet.
Oh.
And so it's just a visor that comes down over your full face.
That's so
but is
weird.
Tinted like sunglasses. Like it has that reflective sheen to it. And it costs like $100 and is super sketchy, and I kind of want to buy it just for the meme, but I feel like I'm just going to get $100 stolen from me.
Yeah, not worth the meme. Not worth the meme.
No. Sorry, but continue.
No, they were just bonus questions, and I must have got
Nailed
them right. But that's pretty cool because it's identifying skulls.
Oh, yeah, because mammology is jacked up. I mean, that's hard.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, what's this bone in your skull? Well, in this skull, because she'll put like a sticker on that bone and then
it says like number 3 or whatever.
Exactly, yeah. So that's pretty cool. Felt very good about that. And then what else? Oh, I got a haircut today and I feel very good.
It's a very good haircut, not just in the quality of the cut, but I feel that the style is appropriate to Lainey's demeanor. She's also now scratching her ear like a dog.
No.
Yes.
No. But I like it a lot, and it was my first time with this hairdresser, and I really like her.
That's good. Mm-hmm. That finding different hairdressers can be a massive pain in the butt.
Let me just say, I hate getting haircuts. I don't like to sit there and try and make small talk with somebody, and I get tired. And I get nervous about what my hair is going to look like.
Sure.
And but this experience was pretty enjoyable. I like the lady a lot, and I'm really happy with how my hair came out. But I get haircuts only probably once a year or less because I don't like doing it.
Do you feel that part of that is not having a consistent hairdresser? That you feel like having one that you know and is good is going to make the process easier, and therefore you might go more often?
Yeah. Especially because I think that I like my hair shorter. Mm-hmm. Because, listen, folks, I'm lazy. Let's just be real here.
Same.
And I don't style my hair. I don't do anything with it. I brush it. I wash it. Yeah. That's pretty much the extent.
Yeah.
And so it's just easier to have short hair, especially because if I have long hair, I want to put it up, but then it hurts because we have the thick hairs.
Well, and our scalps are also very sensitive.
Yeah.
Alternatively, we are little bitches when it comes to our scalps.
My scalp's actually okay because I think Mom trained me at a young age to deal with it.
My scalp is sensitive, and I don't like my hair being pulled on or anything like that. The lady that I've been to at Great Clips more recently, because I feel like as a man I have to deal with this significantly less because the statute for what my hair should be, needs to look like, is much lower. But the lady I go to does a really good job, and I think I have a really jacked up cowlick, and so she deals with it very well. But the problem is that she's using like this vintage pair of shears that are not sharp anymore. I mean, even a little bit.
Yeah.
And so as she's using them, it is pulling every hair before it manages to cut it. So up the side, it's just this grind of like, and she's going up the side of my head. But she does a good job. I just wish she wouldn't use that pair of shears.
Yeah, that's freaking hilarious.
And I can't be like, Kimberly, don't do that. I don't care if you have a soft spot for those. They are bad.
Yeah, they don't work.
Well, I mean, they do, though, because she does a good job. So who am I?
Maybe she would do a shitty job if she had a different pair. You ever think about that?
I would like to find out. I'm willing to risk one haircut.
Fuck around and find out.
Well, as a guy, if it all goes... And not that you can't as a girl, but obviously it's not as societally acceptable as... Anyway, but as a dude, if it all goes bad, I'll shave my head. I don't want to, but I can. Mm-hmm. That's always the default, is go back down to a 2 the whole way around, freaking cue ball.
Right. Lots of people be shaving their heads, though. Like, I know a lot of people...
Like in pop culture?
Just in life. You're
just
telling me...
people you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like men and women? Or Oh, all right. Mm-hmm. I mean, you want to talk about no maintenance.
Right. Well, and... Yeah. I mean, a lot. I think it sort of happened over COVID because people were like, "I'm fucking sick of this, but I have no skills."
Everyone's panicking and doing a full Britney. Just
yeah, and it's just you're right, low maintenance. People are like, "I'm sick of my hair. It's a pandemic. I can't go get it cut, so might as well just shave it." And I think that once you shave your head once, it's so much easier to shave your head later.
Well, yeah, it's going down the water slide, it's jumping off the cliff, whatever. I've done it. It's not scary anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, pretty chill week. Cool. I'm also exhausted from school.
Yeah.
But
well, and you had events to attend this weekend and things like that.
Right. So got to spend a lot of quality time with my friend's kitten, so that's always great.
That is good. Every day that goes by, I feel my willpower degrade further and further into me just getting a dog.
Yeah.
The big problem with that is that, so I have 2 roommates, which I think I've mentioned on here before. The one roommate is all for it, would want me to bring home a dog tomorrow if she could do anything about it. The other one has threatened to shoot any animal that I bring into the home on the site, and not even, because I was like, okay, is the stipulation that it can't be outside of a tank? And he said, no, it can be a fish or it can be nothing. And I said, so no snakes or lizards or gerbils or nothing. So I think that with time and a good hearty conversation that he can be swayed, but it will take time. Well,
because his family has dogs. And does he enjoy those dogs?
I have no idea. And I also think most of those dogs are dead now.
Really?
Yeah.
Rip.
I mean, they were 15, 16.
Even the newest one?
No, not the newest one.
The little...
No, not the newest one, but the other ones.
Yeah,
those are all toast.
Yeah.
But I think that especially because there may soon be the opportunity for me to purchase a lab puppy of good breeding stock, that especially for him who is also Mr. Big Shoot Hunt Man,
right?
Be like, hey, it's a lab. It's a man dog. You have a man dog around the house, right?
Well,
because he's big,
Right, he's big man.
He's big man. He wants a man dog.
Yeah,
that's his chief complaint about the other dogs. They're not man dogs.
Right. His family does have a penchant for little yappy dogs.
Yes, little yappy. Which again, I am pro dog. Period.
Right.
The only reservation on that being the horribly inbred ones like pugs and things like that.
Brachiocephalic.
Yes, because they're cephalic break, yo.
And they know do the breathing.
And that's poor quality of life. And that's dumb to have that because status?
Why torture animals?
Because we're dog breed, status quo. I don't.
Right. Yeah. What?
Look at this animal. It's barely able to keep itself alive.
Yeah.
Ooh,
if you want to look at a really pitiful dog breed, look up. Well, it's spelled Pekingese, but we call them Pekingese at work.
Yeah.
Wow, that is just a sad dog.
Yeah, that thing's falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like hair. It's like a ball of hair with a pug face is essentially what it is.
What a bad way to be.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of dumb. Like all the ones that we've seen or I've seen are just sitting there. They just sit there.
Just barely trying to, it's just all white noise between the ears.
Yeah, I feel like they barely react to anything you do to them. Mm-hmm. You just sit there.
No, absolutely. So yeah, so we'll see what the future holds. I don't want a dog. I want a dog to be around because I like dogs. I don't want to pay for the dog.
Right, dogs.
The care, I'll care for the dog. I don't want to pay for the dog.
Yeah, dogs can get so expensive so fast.
Right,
it's crazy.
Right. So, and I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Yep. So.
All right, people. We're doing a spooky ooky little topic today. Because Happy October is why.
Last week, no spooky topic. The second doesn't count as October. Apparently, fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue robots are spooky.
I mean, robots are by default, sapient robots are spooky.
So boom, you just proved yourself wrong.
Yeah. All right.
So this week is, would you rather be a werewolf or a vampire, and which do you think would win in a fight?
So I think to really have this conversation, you need to lay the groundwork for what variety of vampire and what variety of werewolf are we talking? Because there are werewolves in, mythology and media and things like that can change on command, right? There are also those that are beholden only to the moon. There are those that once they change can be in control of themselves. There are those that once they change, that's a monster.
Right.
Tell me what type of werewolf I am.
Okay, in order to make this a better conversation, I think you get to, at the very least, control yourself when you're transformed. Like, you do have those urges. I think that's something you have to battle with.
But is it at the level of, like, an intrusive thought? Or is it...
I think it's
more pulling than that.
I think it's a little bit more pulling than that, and it's something that you have to overcome.
It's like a compulsion.
Yes.
Okay.
And you have to be able, like, part of the whole storyline is that in order to be like a good person or a good werewolf, you have to like learn how to live with your instinct to like kill.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
And I don't think you're full Twilight werewolf. You're not just a big wolf. I think that you are bipedal.
Weird pseudo bipedal humanoid monster thing.
Yes, yes. And vampires, I'm gonna go kind of crazy right now and say that I appreciate supernatural vampires.
Oh, I have no idea what a supernatural Supernatural the show, to be clear, people.
Right. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Because... So, this is in part because in mammalogy we learned about vampire bats. And vampire bats bite with their incisors, not their canines.
Really?
Yes.
So they kind of scrape.
Yeah, and they're super sharp incisors. And their canines are sharp in there too, but it's not like traditional vampire
where it's
to poke.
The little prongs that bite and then suck from the...
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So... If supernatural vampires have more sets of teeth, like incisors, but
more sets of teeth,
or there's just more
up above the gum.
Okay. And so, like, what Sam and Dean will do in the show, if they think they'll find a body and be like, "Oh, is it a vampire?" and they like push on the gums
to see
and
if
the teeth.
Oh, so it's like a cat's paws where you can press and it'll force the claw out. Yeah. Interesting.
And supernatural vampires do have like the urge, and you can turn people, and they sort of are crazy when they're first.
Every non-lethal vampire bite a turn?
Yeah.
Because every werewolf bite is a turn.
I think so. I'm going to say yes. I'm not sure about supernatural, but I'm going to say yes.
Okay, so equal playing field for you get bit, you are now that thing.
Yes.
What happens if I am one of these things, either werewolf or vampire, and the other one bites me? Do I get bonus powers? Do I get converted, or does nothing happen?
I think it is poison to you.
Oh,
because
so it's like a venom.
Right. So I think the way that this works is bacteria/venom because science. And how else would it work? Magic? No, I want to talk about
We are a very
science.
scientific podcast that discusses all of this bullshit that can't happen.
Yes, and we're based in science.
We are based in science. I mean, we were talking about the legal system like 2 weeks ago,
That's
so
true.
whatever.
That's true. So I think if you're already that thing... because I think with both conditions, you are a super healer.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And so, if your body gets poisoned, with the other, thing, then your super healing will try to attack it and be better at attacking it than a human immune system.
Okay.
So I think you'll get sick.
But is it like instant sick? Like, is because you say like a poison, right? Is it a fast acting, I get bit, and it's got to be more than just like a nip. It's got to be like a full up
bite.
You get a full force bite. Am I down on the ground and curled up in a ball in a couple of seconds?
I would think hours.
Okay, all right.
Or hour.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's not immediate.
No.
It takes some time.
No, yeah.
Okay. What are my... So, werewolf, you are bipedal, humanoid, super person, furry, shaggy thing. Mm-hmm. You have no powers beyond physicality, is kind of the idea with a werewolf. With a vampire, depending on the lore, there are lots of powers included but not limited to flight, invisibility, changing into a bat or sometimes other stuff. Sometimes they get a change into wolves and things like that.
Right.
All sorts of stuff. Your super strength, right? What are my vampire powers?
Strength, I think.
Okay.
Because I think that honestly, in any ability that gives you super healing, I think sort of lends itself to strength.
Right. Well, because if you think about building muscle mass in the form of like slightly tearing muscles so that they re-heal but bigger.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing, right? So if you're reacting quickly and doing all these things that the muscles then heal faster, but they heal faster, bigger.
Right.
Does that mean that I would get buff super easy as like a werewolf or a vampire?
Yes.
Sick.
Yes. And you get to run fast.
This feels like a straight win. Like either way, like bite me up. So what other vampire powers do I have?
You know, I'm classic. I would love it if I could turn into a bat. I'm gonna put that into
very
the
like
mix.
Dracula vamp. I mean, that's
Yeah.
really not useful except for hiding and escaping.
Which it's great though.
That's good. Yeah.
So I think that I just keep thinking about what we do in the shadows.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Or we could also talk about a Twilight situation where everybody has different powers too.
Yeah, I think that's harder to have a discussion about because
True.
then it gets into the little kid playground problem of like, well, I have a force field, you know.
Well, I have a power to break your force
Yeah,
field.
exactly.
Yeah.
Let's talk weaknesses. So werewolf weakness traditionally is
Silver bullet.
silver. Well, silver of any variety, depending. But yeah, very, very traditionally, it's silver bullet. But even like silver dagger or whatever, silvered blade of some variety is the only thing that can do damage to you.
Well, in Teen Wolf, and yes, I'm a Teen Wolf fan.
No,
just
but
put that out there
you know,
now.
it's one of those things where like I smirk and have to hold back a laugh, but we're talking about werewolves and vampires. Yeah, bring in the Teen Wolf and the Twilight and the supernatural and all the bullshit.
Yeah. Wolfsbane is a huge issue, which is just a flower.
It's just a flower.
But
do you make like a poison out of it?
It's so in the show, it's a lot of the time like turned into like a sort of a powder and like I don't know.
I hold it in my hand
and like
and
blow it
just into your face. It's like
or
pepper spray
on
for
weapons.
wolves. But you blow the powder on the weapons?
No,
or
you can
make
blow
like a
powder
paste?
directly. You can put it on weapons. It's
Does
like
the
a poison,
powder stay on the
essentially.
blade, or do you like make a paste and then rub it on the blade?
I don't know. Whatever works.
All right. Okay.
Probably
so
is more effective
Wolfsbane,
as paste.
silver.
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, so Wolfsbane and
Because
silver.
I just feel.
But I feel like you can still like break bones. Like you
Well,
can
and
still,
you can just straight up shoot a werewolf.
Yeah. So I mean, yes, you can shoot them, but they heal through it. Is kind of the idea.
But so if you shoot a werewolf in the head, they die, right?
You tell me. You're running the show.
Well, but like traditionally in media, do you know? Has that even happened? I guess.
I will bring it from the other realm of nerd, right, where it's D&D. If we're going back to traditional ass first edition D&D, you don't damage a werewolf unless it is silver.
Oh,
you
okay.
can spear that bitch with a sword or whatever, and I don't even think canonically that you get through the skin.
Damn.
Like, it's just all bouncing off. Now, you can bludgeon it and, like, slow it down, or if you drop a heavy thing on it, it can't move. You can immobilize it. But you will not kill it unless it is silvered something.
Okay. I like that. Also, though, I think it depends what form you're in. Because I think you are more susceptible to damage in your human form.
Yeah, because I don't know. I think you still take the damage and you still heal it, but I agree that you're not as powerful, certainly. I don't know where the rules lie on that in terms of can I, still... Because if I shoot you with a gun, I would argue that is piercing damage as opposed to bludgeoning of any variety.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless it's like a cannonball, I guess, because that's I'm gonna bludgeon you so hard you explode type thing.
Right.
Railgun.
But
Yeah. But it's in the variety of like they would feel the impact, but it might not penetrate their skin. So it'd knock them over for freaking sure.
It's like wearing Kevlar.
Yeah. You're like, ow.
Yeah.
Oh, like your bones are broken underneath your skin and have to mend back together, but you're getting up.
Yeah. Also, I would like to say that you can control when you transform, but you have to transform on a full moon.
Oh, well, that's fucking lame then.
Why?
Because vampire kicks the shit out of werewolf in that case, because the vampire's a vampire every night.
Well, but that's what you can control anytime, but you have to transform on a full moon.
So you can transform when I thought you were saying you control if you transform, but you can only do it on a full moon.
Oh, no.
I was like, that's lame as fuck.
No, that's super lame.
Okay, so when you transform on the full moon, are you less in control?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like the werewolf juice is fully in the brain, going sicko mode on your neurons.
Going straight sicko mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're way out of control. Got to chain yourself up in the basement type beat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
cool.
and your loved ones better have some silver.
But you don't want to kill them. You just want to do a really good job of preparing and locking them up.
Yeah, but you got to be prepared.
Yeah, that's fair. I've given you permission to eat me on this podcast.
And to kill you if you're a zombie.
And, well, yeah, but I'm dead at that point. Like, undead, people are like, oh, it's, reanimated, it's real. No, they're still dead. They're just a different type of dead.
Well, but also, okay, so if you were a werewolf, you would want me to kill you as a werewolf rather than you kill me, right?
That's true, yeah.
Because that's the same for me. Like, if I was a werewolf, I'd be like, tie me up as tight as you can on this full moon, but if I get out, kill me. Because how could you live with yourself?
Yeah. Totally. Mm-hmm. Okay, so silver, wolfsbane, maybe drop a car or large piece of masonry on them.
Ah, quarry. We didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Well, the quarry is just, it gets to you. So it's still full moon, but then it kind of just builds up in your system until you explode into this weird, horrible blood wolf thing.
Right. Well, and you have fur. We ain't doing no skinless werewolves or... Oh my god.
I mean, they kind of are skinless werewolves, right?
Yeah, no hairless werewolves.
No hairless
you gotta
werewolves.
have fur because you want to look
like
scary, but that's
shaggy,
disgusting.
Big shaggy fur?
Like Lupin.
So like weird, short, you can see the skin through it fur.
I think it depends what hair you have.
So like my hair.
So like your hair, you'd be more like...
kind of shaggy.
Yeah, a little shaggier.
But if I buzz my head, does that change my werewolf hair?
No, it's literally the kind of hair
like
you have.
the variety as opposed to...
Right, so if you have really thin hair, you're going to look more Lupin-y. But if you have thick hair, you're
Shout out to all my thick-haired werewolves.
Yeah. Shout out to all the thin hair werewolves. I'm sorry you have thin hair.
There's probably a product for that. Whatever the opposite of all that.
Eat some fish oil.
No, not opposite of Rogaine. Just Rogaine.
Is that steroids?
No, well, it's like stuff you rub on your head when you're balding, and it brings your hair back.
Seems like it'd give you cancer.
I mean, probably. How bad do you want that hair? Okay. Vampire weaknesses. If we're going bat transformation, I feel like you have to take garlic. Yeah. You have to be garlic wheat.
You have to, which is so sad. I love garlic.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. At least...
yeah, literally why garlic?
At least silver, there's like the metallurgical property of... It's like a rare metal, maybe a special metal. Okay, I see where this goes. Or silver and moon kind of contrast each other or go together. What the fuck does the moon and blood sucking have to do with garlic? Or was it like they were eating garlic and they're like, make sure to eat your vegetables or else the vampires will get you? Like, is that really what it is?
Because if garlic hurts vampires, why doesn't like onions?
Well, it's same family but different species. Like, there's all sorts of shit that's same family, different species that, like... Labrador retrievers and wolves are both canines. One will for sure eat you before the other one does.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, but it just seems like the properties of garlic are similar to other things. Maybe it's like a
concentration thing. Like something about garlic has a lot of vampire poison in it, and onions might be like, I don't want to be in the room, but like I can stand here and not burn. Yeah. Because the garlic doesn't kill them. It's just like uncomfortable.
Right. Like pepper spray.
I mean, yeah, that's bad.
Right.
That's real bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean,
but you can get through it. You pour some milk in your eyes.
I'm gonna pepper spray you, and let's see how well you can quote get through it if I give you a gallon of milk.
I mean, it's horrible, but you're gonna live. Is what I'm trying to say.
I just like you fucking pussy power through it. I can't I just wish that we had I had pepper spray and could just pepper spray you on mic, so that we could just have
so fucked.
Just the noise of you and rolling around on the ground. You just hear the power through it. Here's your milk. Just hear a bucket splashing.
That's so funny.
Okay, so garlic, vampire weakness. What else?
So not dead, but just that hurted.
Incapacitated at all?
Yeah.
Can I still have full mobility to get away, or am I weakened by the garlic's presence?
Weakened.
Okay.
But
so it's harder to move and be more okay.
And what else? What's
steak to the heart.
Steak.
Right.
Wood, and it's gotta be wood.
Has to be wood. Okay.
And
crosses.
In Supernatural, there's this weird thing about dead man's blood.
What?
So you coat a steak in
you just murder a man and then he's dead and now his blood is dead and you can take that.
Special,
because I feel like that's still pretty fresh,
right?
Or do you have to get a corpse and take the dried blood out and roll it around?
Yeah, I think it's special. I don't know. Sorry, that wasn't helpful at all.
Okay.
I thought maybe you'd know something.
Crucifix. Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah. So are we going old school Catholic? Because we both have weird Catholic fear.
Yeah.
Of religious
iconography.
Iconography. Thank you.
Well, okay. How many disadvantages do werewolves have?
Silver.
Wolfsbane.
That's it.
And that's it.
And blunt force trauma on a large magnitude, but I feel like that applies to anything.
So let's keep it even. So wolfsbane and garlic are in the same level.
Yeah, it's
and
a plant.
Steak, it is a plant.
That's a plant.
You're right.
Yep.
And then is garlic a fruit?
But
or is it a root? What is it? How does it grow?
It's a bulb, in the ground.
Oh,
so it shoots up little, scallions almost, green onions kind of come off the top. Not actually green onions.
So it's
but
a root.
Yeah, it's like a lily. Or no, a tulip. The bulb of a tulip?
Yeah,
that's a garlic.
Okay. Sorry, that was not related at
not
all.
A fruit.
I was just wondering.
Not a fruit.
Not
even
a fruit.
A little bit.
Well, I didn't know how they grew.
Dear listener, if you take one thing away from this, ignore all the dumb bullshit about werewolves and vampires. Please understand, please listen carefully, that garlic is not a fruit.
Mm-hmm. And it's important to know that garlic is not a fruit, because these days it's really difficult to tell what is a fruit. But just know garlic is not.
Well, it depends if you're talking botanically or culinarily. But we're getting off topic. Garlic, wolfsbane. Plants against the enemy.
Yep, and then steak versus silver. Same.
I feel like silver is much more widely applicable because a steak implies that it's just a single piece, right? It's a steak.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tie a steak to the end of a pole and smash it into a vampire's heart? And it has to be the heart.
Yeah.
So if I slam it through his leg,
it's incapacitating, I think, but not dead.
I don't think it damages him any more than anything else would. If it's not in the heart.
What?
I mean, if we're really playing it by the rules.
But
how about a cool vampire hunter as a crucifix that is a stake? So that way if you hit him, it's kind of doing
double damage?
Well, some damage if you don't get it straight to the heart. But then in the heart, that's a extra for sure dead.
But I don't want to include crucifixes because I think a really good plot line would be if somebody, was used their crucifix against a vampire and then the vampire was like, that didn't do anything.
I bet you there's a million everything, books and movies and shit where that exact thing happens.
Yeah, and I think that's scary and cool.
Okay. All right.
So No, I think to kill them, you have to get it through their heart. But I think you can incapacitate them because...
Even if it's like a fringe, like, limb hit?
And like, it's just damage. Not necessarily... I guess incapacitate is maybe wrong. Just damage. Because I think... Again, I want to use my science brain and be like, why would a wooden stake, if that's their weakness, hurt only their heart? That doesn't make sense.
Well, because it's about the ceremony of it. It's the idea is that the only living piece of the vampire is their heart.
Oh, then maybe I'm okay with that.
Okay. Because of everything that we've brought up so far...
Because I guess... Yeah, okay.
Of everything we've brought up so far, fuck werewolves. Werewolves are lame as shit. I'm going to be a vampire.
Also, you're immortal.
Do I have to feed? Yeah, well, immortal can be a real bad deal, though.
Right, so you're immortal. Let's say you have longevity as a werewolf.
Yeah, no, you're going to live for longer, for sure. Mm-hmm. Like, if you normally would live to 80-something, you're probably living, I bet you, to, like, your mid 105, 115s.
Yeah.
Getting a little plus 30 years on top of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Vampire immortal?
Mm-hmm. I don't want to be immortal.
Do you have to drink blood?
Yes.
How often and how much? And does it have to be human?
I think you have to feed at least weekly. Doesn't have to be human. And I don't know enough to say how much. Do you know how many liters are in a person? So
we've had this exact conversation on the podcast before because I was listening to it the other week.
Oh.
And I'm pretty sure we got it super wrong because we looked up how much blood is in a sheep.
Why?
I don't remember. But something to the effect of there are, I think whatever we looked up said there's like 5 gallons of blood in a person. And while that feels like a lot, that also doesn't feel like enough.
5 milk jugs.
Right, because then you have 1 for each of your limbs plus 1 for your body and head.
Seems like there should be more for your body and head.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that feels like 5 gallons is not enough.
Yeah.
Do you have to, if I feed off of a person... Well, no, because we've already determined that a good deep bite just turns them into a vampire if they don't die.
Right.
I'm feeding on animals. I feel like there's enough... if you go up to Tahoe, I'll catch bears every week and go feed on bears.
You don't want to feed on predators.
Why?
There's less of them. You're going to fuck up the ecosystem.
Okay, deer or whatever.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, we could significantly reduce the, bear population issue if I could just, snap a couple of bear necks.
Well, sure, if it's 5 liters, not 5 gallons. Does that make a difference?
That's way less. There's like 2 and some change liters, 3 liters in a gallon. How is there only 5 liters of blood in a person? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Well,
I don't know. Maybe we're stupid.
Well, I Googled that, so Google's stupid.
Okay.
So one of the things that's really interesting about Twilight is when Edward is teaching Bella to hunt after she's newly vampire. She tries to go after like a bobcat, but he stops her and is like, we don't feed on predators because of, it'll fuck up the ecosystem because there's less of them.
So I've only seen the movies. She murders the shit out of that cougar.
Oh, she does?
Oh, like pile drives it into the ground and then rips it to pieces.
Why do I not remember that?
I don't know.
Why did I remember that wrong?
Why have I seen the Twilight movies more than once? More than once.
They're good.
The first one, masterpiece.
Yeah, the first one's really good.
It is kitschy and weird indie movie filtered, and I love it because it's stupid.
Yep. Second one's the worst.
The second one's by far the worst, and then the very last one is the second best.
Yes, because I love the fake fight.
I hate that it's fake.
I
think
love
that
it's fake.
No, I think that it should have been real.
I love that it's fake.
It's a really good twist that it is fake. It should have been real. 110%. But anyway. Vampire literally all the way. Now, here's the thing. People are like, oh, but if you're immortal, like you're going to watch all your loved ones die and that's going to be horrible. The reality is, for most people, that's going to happen. Besides your children or grandchildren that are, yet to be, most people are going to watch their grandparents, their parents, their aunts, their uncles, even some of their cousins die before they do.
Right.
And immortal gives you a long time to get over it or have more.
Right.
Not parents, obviously, but you can have more children and shit. Maybe that's weird and psychotic to say. I'm not saying that I wouldn't be sad. Of course I would be sad. But I think that because of the reality of that is likely going to happen anyway for much of your family or close friends, I think that it is less of a curse than people make it out to be, because you can just choose to quit whenever. Yep. You can take immortality. You can take immortality as far as you would like to take it, and then you can just be like, "Hey, dude, this is going to sound really weird. You're homeless. Here's $10,000 and a stake. If you can drive this into my heart, that's all yours, pal."
Yeah. I mean, that's true. I've never thought about that before. But I personally...
Do I still get to sleep as a vampire?
No.
That's a bad one. Awake forever is a bad one.
Maybe you can like pretend to sleep.
I don't want to pretend. I want to be unconscious. Like right now, actually. I would love to be asleep right now.
Yeah.
Also something that we have really not discussed, the sun.
I think...
On either account.
I think you don't like it as a vampire, but you can withstand it.
Does it do damage to me, or does it just make me uncomfortable?
I think it just makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's fine then.
And I think you're more easy to get sunburned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets faster to that like giant blister point.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll wear like sun shirts and long sleeves for the rest of my life.
Bring around a dramatic parasol. Great for me.
Yeah, totally.
Also, if I'm a vampire, I'm going so glam.
Glampire?
Yeah, Glampire.
Okay.
Yeah, because you just accumulate money, because when you're alive forever, that happens.
If you fuck up immortality by not being rich, you're an idiot.
Yeah, literally
Any
dumb.
vampire that is anything less than like nearing 1% is a fucking loser.
Yeah. Unless you choose to live off grid, then that's different, because then you're like a
You want to be a weird like forest vampire, like a hermit vampire? Yeah. Fuck that. No,
I don't want to be. I'm saying that there are
they exist, but I feel like those are the crazy ones that actually eat people. Like I'm gonna be like the show Lucifer. That doesn't have anything to do with vampires. He's the devil or whatever. I'm going to be like the black suit with a red shirt, living in a penthouse, like that kind of vampire.
Literally. Yeah. Me too.
There's a video game franchise called Guilty Gear, in which there is a vampire named Slayer. And his whole thing is that it's a fighting game. If he loses, his whole thing is he gets back up at the end of it and is like not down or defeated, but he's like, hey, that was good. Because the whole thing is that none of the cast actually has enough power to kill him.
Yeah.
But totally, same thing, like really nice dress shoes and the whole suit. And he starts out the round with like a girl on his arm who he's using as like a blood bag or whatever. I'm not saying I'd do that, but
So are you saying that you choose vampire?
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah, werewolf does seem more like a curse.
Yeah.
Although you can eat normal stuff.
That's true. Can I not eat normal stuff as a vampire? I have to only do blood?
You've seen what we do in the shadows.
Oh, man. Fuck.
I love chips.
Yeah, just vomiting blood. No, like, I don't know. Like, it sounds so horrible and, like, hedonistic to say that I would give up immortality and all of these powers because I want to eat a basket of French fries. But food is so good.
Food is so good.
I even made the comment to Dad this weekend about how horribly food motivated I am. Like, I'm still a pretty thin...
I'm also food motivated.
I'm a pretty thin dude, but I would work real hard for good food.
If I was a dog, I'd be a lab.
Yeah. No, I mean myself as well, but for a variety of reasons.
So I will stipulate, though, that once you become a vampire, your hunger for blood is such that food doesn't seem as, like, in the moment,
yeah,
doesn't
when
seem
you're
as
thirsting after blood. You're not like, I want a burger. It's like, no, I'm gonna drink some dude.
And sometimes maybe
Which
you wistfully
I could do like a Morbius, you know, and I haven't seen Morbius, but doesn't he like eat bad guys?
I haven't seen Morbius.
I feel like he doesn't eat people in general.
Oh.
Which is dumb. There's a lot of bad guys what need eaten.
Yeah, you could become Dexter Vampire.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. And then you can be immortal and you just do it forever.
And then you could basically become the benevolent dictator you talk about.
But if it's a way that I'm like more powerful than everyone and they just can't do anything to stop me, that's a pretty, I mean, I know we're talking dictator in general and benevolent dictator, but like that's a really easy way to just, for everyone to be like, that's a tyrant demon that rules us. He eats people.
Well, that's why you do it a sneaky way.
Like the mafia or something? What do you mean a sneaky way?
You just
how am I in charge of everything, but people don't know that I'm in charge of everything? They don't know I'm a vampire.
No, I don't think you're like king of society. I guess the dictator is the wrong. Like you just get to control society,
like
but nobody
overlord.
knows you're controlling.
I'm a one-man vampire Illuminati.
Because you just
one-man Glampire Illuminati.
Yes. Because you could just kill all the politicians that you had a problem with.
That feels weird and one-sided.
True, but like...
My political beliefs, but they're all of yours now, or I'm going to eat you.
Well, no, and then like you take out people you don't like. I mean, it's the same thing as being a benevolent dictator. You're just not sitting in front of everybody.
But there's something more honest when I'm just a regular person about it, you know? Like if I'm a vampire and just going and murdering everyone, it just feels like I feel kind of guilty about that.
You have a pit!
But I've convinced other people to help me put people in the pit. As opposed to like where I'm a vampire and my second pair of teeth come down and I'm like, put them in a pit. You know, like...
Are you Peter?
Who is Peter? I am absolutely Peter. No, I will be bald. I'm going to have like the big, collar up above everything. They have to like sling a chicken.
A roommate meeting in 15 minutes if you... Okay. If you guys have not seen the What We Do in the Shadows movie, you have to watch it.
Oh, okay. So it seems like you are very much on the vampire side as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
fuck a werewolf.
What was the original question? Is it just would you
Who
rather
would win
be?
And
I think vampire wins because the ability to just slash at something with a silver anything is a hell of a lot easier than to use garlic to like corner it and then stab it, especially if it can turn into a bat.
Well, and the werewolves too.
And if the
vampires, do they have the dexterity to even do that? I think
so. I think that they are equally matched physically. But the thing is if you have people that are people. I don't know, werewolves are people. But
I think werewolves are people. I don't think vampires are people.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, because
it's like people with an affliction versus something else entirely.
Interesting. A condition, as you named earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like if you had a clone that you had to fight, as we've discussed before, and you are weak to a knife because you are, but your clone you could only kill by taking a stake and slamming it into their chest.
The clone's gonna win.
The clone is probably gonna win.
Right.
Given anything else.
So true. So with the conditions that we've set, vampires
because it doesn't even
win.
matter if it's like during the day, like you find where the vampire's sleeping, because it doesn't have to sleep, right? That's a bad...
And they're uncomfortable in the sun, but they can deal with it.
Like you have to get them to go to a garlic field in the daytime so that they're uncomfortable and like distracted, and probably have to use multiple people. Oh, running water is also a thing for vampires for some reason. They don't like running water.
That's weird.
In old D&D like lore type thing.
Like
so like if you
a stream?
Yeah. Like the deeper and faster the water, the worse, right? So a proper river is like, I'm not going anywhere near that shit.
Really?
Yeah. So there would be like in D&D when you're trying to fight a vampire, it's like I'm going to push you towards a river because you're not going to go over it.
Yeah.
Type thing. And so you could use that as a wall to kind of corner them.
Yeah.
Or better yet, if you could like grapple them, which you don't want to do because they'll bite you. But if you could restrain them and like push them into the water, then they'll start to hiss and burn, and it won't kill them, but it'll make it weak enough that you can stab it.
Well, I just thought too when you said bite. If you are a werewolf, something you can use to your advantage is to try and bite the vampire, because as we've stated earlier, the venom of, one, because you're just essentially poisoning them.
Because you have big muzzle, more teeth type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, like, even if you could keep the whatever silver implement away from yourself, because I don't think it does damage until it touches you.
Yeah, I agree.
So as long as you don't get touched, and then you can land a good solid bite and then track the vampire down later. I think it's a harder fight, but it is more equal in that context. I'll agree.
And I do think that even though they're both fast, I think that werewolves can run faster because they have the use of all four limbs.
What if the vampire can fly? How fast can it fly?
Well, I'm assuming it only can fly if it's a bat, so it's not very fast.
Bats are pretty fast.
Bats are fast,
but I feel like
in
a werewolf
comparison,
runs faster.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Sure. But then the bat goes up high and the werewolf can't get it.
True.
I mean, you got to come down eventually, I guess, but it can go up and over and then down.
Exactly. So I think that there's a little bit more of an even fight. I still think vampire wins.
It's definitely, I think on the whole the vampire probably wins, but if the werewolf is being smart about it and the werewolf is fighting more than one-on-one, then there is obviously a much better chance. But the same could be said for the vampire if it's a cluster. What's a group of vampires called?
I don't know. What's a group of bats called? Colony?
Colony. A colony of vampires? That feels...
Well, I don't know. I'm just going off bats.
Indistinguished from my Glampire life.
Well, that's why when you're a Glampire, you're alone.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. As a werewolf, because vampires, you get like the big collar and the, suit or whatever, right? You can kind of Glampire it up. How do you do werewolf? Do you go
tough.
Shaggy? Oh, tough? Like, are we talking like black leather and spikes kind of tough?
Yeah.
Because I think you could kind of go like grizzly mountain man.
Oh, yeah. You can do the plaid thing.
I don't want plaid, though, because plaid is very lumberjack. I want like a flannel, but without the plaid pattern on it, so it's just like the material. Like, in the modern way, it would be very Carhartt, durable, canvasy type of clothing.
I think there's two different kinds of werewolves. I think
the biker werewolf and the mountain werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Yeah.
We've separated
Probably,
the species.
you know what?
What do I know?
Probably the mountain werewolves are going to be the thick-haired werewolves, and the thin-haired werewolves are the tough biker werewolves.
I hate that that's correct. Yeah. Gross.
So yuck.
Because then I'm just getting this image of like thin Lupin werewolf, but with like one of those biker helmets with the spike on top of it and like a leather vest on, and it just fits him super poorly because it's all long.
Like up to the middle of his forearm because he's all like freaking lanky and weird.
Well, no, vest, just like not shirt, vest. Like vest, but it's all hangy because it just doesn't fit his weird little skinny freak body.
That's so funny.
I won't body shame a person. I'll body shame the fuck out of a werewolf.
As is, you're right, because a werewolf would kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, not that a person wouldn't kill you, but it's more likely that a werewolf would kill you.
Yes.
So there you have it.
Would you... So we've determined that I would be a vampire. If I'm willing to be a vampire, I feel like I would also be willing to be a werewolf.
Yeah. If you had to choose, though, you'd choose vampire first?
Yeah, no, totally. Because at least I'm in control of myself at all times. And if it's like, hey, I need to go feed, I can grab a, deer or whatever. Because you can go just flying through the woods, And then even as a bat, if an owl or something comes after you, you just turn back to a human and punch that bitch real quick and go back to what you're doing.
So true.
I would be a werewolf, though. I would definitely be Carhartt werewolf and not black leather werewolf.
Yep, me too.
Would you be willing to be a vampire?
Yeah, I would choose vampire over werewolf. I think being a Glampire would be sick.
Yeah, but you would go old Victorian, like parasol and big lacy dress and stuff.
I'd have that option. I don't think I'd utilize it all the time, but I'd have that option.
Would you at least like wear more black? Would you really play into it, or would you be like a pastel vampire?
I don't really like pastels. I want the bright color.
Neon vampire.
Not neon. I want the bright color.
Because if Glampire is to biker werewolf, right? Because that feels like that's kind of the connection there. Is there like castle vampire, like wilderness castle vampire?
So I think there's castle vampire versus modern home vampire. You know what I mean? Like the Cullens have this like modern, like
I was gonna
rich,
say,
huge. You know.
Well, but they're off in the kind of East Jesus Nowhere type of thing.
I was just talking more about the home type.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a just
so
literally
Glampire
like modern
is penthouse up there, whatever, and then Cullen is more modern, like next to civilization type of thing.
Yeah, it just depends how you use your money. You know?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Like
I would build a castle. Like, I'm not gonna front. I would build a castle.
Right? Yeah, me too. Like
and
I would
be like, I'm gonna live up on this fucking hill in my castle, and be that weirdo. You know.
Then you really would become Peter because you'd be shunted away from society.
Well, not like away. Like I'd be up in the hills, but I'd still be next to like a population center. Okay. Like, I'd maybe go down to Vegas because then there's lots more population or whatever.
You know what's crazy?
Tell me.
A book series that I read, the vampires' hub is in Vegas.
That makes sense because there's lots of degeneracy. And I feel like vampires thrive on degeneracy.
And there's, like, consensual bloodletting.
Oh, totally.
Which would definitely happen.
Oh, I would start a cult so fast.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, guys, check this shit out. I'm a real vampire.
Yeah.
Who wants to help me out in being a vampire?
Part of what
like,
we do
not
in
bring me people, but like, hey man, could you donate some blood so I don't have to eat a person? That'd be cool.
Well, and part of what we do in the shadows is like, if you be my quote unquote slave for X amount of time, you just get to be immortal.
Right.
And
well,
you know how
get
many...
to be a vampire. The whole promise is like, I'll bite you.
That happens in Twilight too. Like, you just can manipulate humans and being like, I will turn you immortal if you work for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally.
So.
I want to get turned right now. If there's a vampire out there listening, it needs to be now before it goes bad later and I get like old and fat and then have to live as that forever.
Yeah, because even you just don't look cute, even if you are, functional,
healthy.
Yeah, and just as fast and whatever.
It's hard to be a glampire when I have to look like a mob boss.
Right. I mean, that's kind of cool though.
Yeah, but I don't want it in the old Italian way. I want it in like the sleek, like tighten my tie and like snap my fingers and the guy gets chopped. You know?
I wanted it in the Italian way.
That's not surprising to me.
Oh, my daughter's... No, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, that's
No,
fair.
I'm not going to do it.
You know, we started with the Mario movie and Italian voices, and now we ended with Italian voices.
Well, also, it'd kind of be hard to be Italian and a vampire because garlic.
There are no Italian vampires. Confirmed.
Confirmed. Science.
And we're getting a little long in the tooth here. No pun intended. Do you have any closing remarks?
Vampire.
Yeah. No good.
Basically,
vampire.
Vampire.
All right, folks. Well, I guess Lainey should close us out because she's our host this week.
Yeah, bitch.
We're at 1:12 and counting. I'm trying to get us done here.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any inquiries about us being vampires or, you know, your own thoughts about being vampires and or werewolves, why are werewolves better? Let us know.
You can send us an email every week asking if I'm a vampire, and I can promise this right now. I have raised my right hand. I can will you confirm for the people
Confirmed.
that I have raised my right hand? I will tell you honestly every week that you ask whether or not I am or am not a vampire.
Wow, that's a big promise.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if you want to email that to us, our email is hypotheticalsiblings@gmail.com. That's hypothetical, HYPOTHETICAL, siblings@gmail.com.
Thanks, everybody.
And have a good week.